and welcome to the NXT review. We are the Dadley Boyz of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilborn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Cedric here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of NXT. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review the show formerly known as NXT 2Play. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete. Really good quiz, of course, on WhatCulture. As I said, they're joined by Hamflett and Cedric to review last night's NXT.
Cedric.
It's a long day. To review last night's episode of NXT and the setting off on the road to NXT Deadline.
Just watching you like, oh God, there's no fallout. Oh God, there's no go home. What we're setting off on the road to? We're not on the road yet. We're setting off on the road.
Yeah, it was the first step on the road.
You say that right for a bullet point, probably. But I think NXT agrees with you when you say the Iron Survivor is the best new match in wrestling, because if nothing else, and there wasn't much else, but if nothing else, this show told you that over and over again. I thought this was a very effective job in putting over the Iron Survivor, the importance of Deadline. This was promotion. This was wrestling television. The business serving to promote something. There was nothing stand out in ring, not really. There was a couple of absolute duds, in fact. But like across the night, it was just Deadline matters. Iron Survivor's really good, actually. Here's some stars that it's made. Here's some pretty cool moments it's made. Look at us presenting ourselves as if we're a functional wrestling product. They kind of hit that quite a lot. Not in a way that you were overwhelmed by it, just in a sort of very like efficient fashion. It really knows itself, this NXT.
So I just forgot to have thoughts. I'm trying to think.
Classic Tidgy.
Yeah. What happened? I think that's one thing I liked. Actually, I think there's one thing I like. That's good.
I know there's going to be one thing that you absolutely just despised, but we will get.
Yeah, the worst person saying the worst thing.
Yeah.
Not the worst person.
Immediately thought of you when it happened. And I thought, oh yeah, there it is.
It'd be really clever if I say this.
But let's get straight into the show. It was opened by Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia. Well, a recap of the ECW show, and then. I was disappointed to hear about what Francine said about it, just very quickly.
No.
On her podcast, Eyes Up Here. That's the name of her podcast.
Why?
Don't know. You might have to explain that one.
Okay,
to me,
I think it's because she's well endowed.
Okay.
And people don't look at her face enough for her liking.
Apparently she was...
Wasn't there a thing in the crowd shot of her in the crowd and some guys just like that?
Want to sing along? ECW.
Apparently she was going to be the special guest referee for the Brick to the Face match.
Yeah.
But I think she'd had abdominal surgery or something, so she couldn't do that. And they were like, it's all right, we'll have you be a backstage interviewer. And then apparently she showed up on that Wednesday night and the voice had just gone. So they were like, just stand in the crowd. So that's a shame.
Nice, you could do something.
Yeah.
Still
But yes, we got a recap of that, and then the show opened with Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia versus Cora Jackson and Lash Legend.
I didn't hate this.
Yeah, I really like the team of Vaquer and Giulia, even though that's not long for this world, quite clearly. Nice moment to start off. Giulia gets in there with Lash Legend, and they go at it, and then Lash is like, test the strength up here. I can't reach, so I just punch you in the gut. Jackson comes in, takes down Giulia with a missile drop kick. Vaquer comes in, and there's a nice tag team maneuver from Giulia and Vaquer to take out Jackson. And Vaquer does that move that you and I really like, Sidge, of squeezing the head between the legs and slamming it onto the mat. Lash Legend, awesome strength from her. At one point, she caught both Giulia and Vaquer, bounced them between the ropes. And then she got Jackson up on her shoulders for a dive onto the outside onto both of them to take us to a break. When we come back, there was a split second where I thought, has Lash Legend been holding Stephanie Vaquer in this stalling suplex the entire break?
That's what you want you to think, Mark.
Giulia comes in.
She's been doing it the whole goddamn time? Jesus Christ, yeah, it's broad strong.
As compared to the...
So Wilborn was saying verbatim.
As compared to the Pando, where they just go, Stand here for a bit then. No
It's
point.
got like Eric's just peacefully sleeping. Eric, wake up! She's still holding on to the suplex. So strong.
Giulia gets a hot tag. It's a flip powerbomb on Lash Legend at one point. Stephanie Vaquer comes in and hits a double back suplex on Jackson with the help of Giulia for a 2 count. Giulia takes out Legend with a drop kick, and Jackson gets hit with the double knee lift, knee strike thing that they do for them to get the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, they're asked about the INTV and NXT, and Giulia says, I knew this day would come. And Stephanie Vaquer says, see you at NXT deadline.
This was really impressive and almost for NXT's women's division in a low-key way. There was a lot of focus on Deadline, on the Iron Survivor, as I say, and that was the thing to promote, and that was the kind of show on message. The NXT women's division, when they are not trumpeting like just how great it is and how stacked it is and just all that sort of stuff, that's when it shines, is when it shows rather than tells. This was such a victory lap for Shawn Michaels and for NXT in that, yes, we can still make cool signings and kind of cheat a little bit considering that we're serial developmental, but then we're bringing in some of this like world-renowned talent that could immediately go onto the main roster, like a Roxanne Perez. We are still cheating a little bit. It's the old Triple H PWG cheat code, but for women's wrestling now. But the ones that we are developing can genuinely benefit from those wrestlers, can benefit from a far more flexible and workable relationship with Raw and SmackDown, as they have, like without question.
Yeah, real success
had, like,
story.
their best month ever, and you see the difference. We talk about reps all the time. Even just being out there probably in front of bigger crowds with more established stars and wrestlers has helped them. Like loads more aura immediately. And I think this was like a little like micro success story for what the real like sort of triumph of this division has been this year, is because you are seeing the way that they can elevate talent. Lash Legend, they book her so well. Like the little intra-match moments she gets. I don't know that Lash Legend could go out there and have like a really high quality 10-minute singles match, but I know that they would do everything along with what she's good at to agent one out of her. And that to me is development.
She's going to have some amazing spots in the Rumble, isn't she?
Yeah, that's development in action ultimately. Like find what wrestlers are really good at, really hone in on those things, get them as good as they possibly can be, and then sort of hope the rest comes together. If you're going to do it next in line, especially, and you're going to bring people in that don't necessarily have any wrestling background, do it that way because people will find what makes them like individually shine.
More of a talk show background for Lash Legend, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll stop being earnest now. I can hear myself on NXT just trying to like praise my new shine. I shouldn't. A really good bit of business.
I thought they might have missed the peak by a few minutes. I was more impressed by a lot of the match before the commercial break. I mean, that Lash Legend spot was incredible. But I think I was generally impressed with the fact that there's that really horrible, soulless, they just do it to tick some boxes quality of an NXT match, and then they miss the point often so much that it's like you're not even kicking each other, or you're not even making it look like you are doing these strikes. It's felt like the wrestlers, to borrow Hamlet's take, doing what they would do to win a match. Lash Legend using her power, you know? It just felt like, it wasn't a blow away great match, but I believed in it, which is odd because it's NXT. I don't believe in anything. It turns me into a complete nihilist when I watch this garbage most of the time. But no, I had some fun with it.
Yeah, the lineup for that Women's Iron Survivor, as we've mentioned, looks really, really exciting. Speaking of which, following this, there was a video package hyping up the Iron Survivor and its rules.
Oh my God.
As if we needed reminding. Come on.
You like the bit of this video?
You didn't know the penalty box existed.
I forgot about the penalty box.
You did need reminding me.
The video reminded you of it yesterday.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, yeah, the penalty box.
Oh my God.
Also, I saw, in amongst all this, I saw an advert for the CW's Trivial Pursuit featuring NXT. Well, put that on the list along with Wheel of Fortune, obviously.
Yeah, give that. Trivial Pursuit and Scrabble as well. They've got on TV in America at the moment. I'd watch those if they were on over.
Is that sort of, no, it's not really Blockbusters, is it? It's different from,
That's Scrabble.
Yeah.
Scrabble on the telly.
I'm not really good at Scrabble. You two would be class at it.
It's not about words. I've realised it's about points. My mother-in-law is good at Scrabble, and she kicked my ass because I was just trying to use up all my letters and come up with nice words, and then I was setting traps for myself because the more letters you place out, you're opening the board up.
Yeah.
So people, it's about where you put that Q on that triple letter score and all that. It's not about. It's QO is a word.
What?
Yep, and you can get like
what?
I don't know, like 60 points for it or something.
Whoa.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game!
What does quo mean? Seriously, I don't know.
No, I mean either.
That's what I was going to hear. Guess. Is it like an informal abbreviated for like quota or something like that? No, not really, because that'd be QU.
QUO, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I'll say it's some kind of.
wouldn't it? Yeah.
No. Quo.
I'll say some kind of animal.
Yeah, an egg. I was thinking an
An animal, yeah, an egg.
Just
Yeah, the famous animal, the egg.
no, like the egg of a, the egg of an animal is a quo.
Cool.
I'll say I legitimately don't know that it's some kind of material, a building material of some kind.
Okay. Nicholas? Any thoughts on a quo?
Quo is not a word in Scrabble. You've been done.
Lied to me.
She lied. You've been worked by your mother-in-law.
God damn. It's like down to the last letters and stuff. Quo. There we go. Something means nothing. And now that game doesn't either.
No definition found, says Scrabble Dictionary.
Is it QI and QA that you can? What vowels can you put next to a Q for a word in Scrabble?
Tell us that, Wilborn, that it's just an egg, mate. So.
QI.
The circulating life energy that in Chinese philosophy is thought to be inherent in all things. Qui.
Key. You ever watched QI? Not for me, that one.
No, I find them all a bit smug.
I don't think it is smart. I think it's smug. I think there's a key difference.
That might be right, yeah.
It's not like...
Smug.
I think
Alan Davies,
I think it welcomes people.
What's he like? He gets the thing wrong every single
Jonathan Creek.
time.
I'll not hear a bad word against Jonathan Creek on this podcast.
You want to do that one, don't you?
Oh,
the Creek cast.
Jesus Christ, I love Jonathan Creek so goddamn much.
I never watched a single episode. Was he a detective?
Yeah, oh my God, is he?
I didn't like it. I watched the first couple, but it's like kind of spooky adjacent.
Oh,
I was like,
it's a bit scary.
Not into it.
It is a bit scary, but I'll lead you through it. Don't you worry. Love me some Jonathan Creek.
Oh God, Jonathan Creek gives me the creeps.
Jonathan Creek. It's a different show.
Wilbur watches that as well.
Who was in Jonathan Creek? Was it Caroline Quentin?
Yes,
Remember
she
him
was,
badly?
and then he had another female partner for the ongoing. I've got the box set. I'll bring it in.
It happened.
Not even a joke.
Jonathan Creek existed in a time where there was no Doctor Who. We are a generation that didn't really have our own Doctor Who, and then they brought it back. And like, I'll watch Doctor Who, and this is not to shoot on anyone that likes Doctor Who now, but I'll watch it. It was like, how's this kid's show on at like night time? But like, it's because Doctor Who was always like, ooh, spooky Doctor monsters.
You've absolutely killed it for a lot of people who love Who
Look
as
what
well.
we're reviewing.
We've got a channel about it.
I've got no room to talk. Yeah, we've got a channel about wrestling.
We're literally doing an NXT podcast.
Exactly.
NXT. I can't,
there was no real
I can't get away with Doctor Who.
No really 90s Doctor Who. There wasn't one for the age when we would have been perfect for.
No.
There was a Jonathan Creek.
I mean, I watch an episode of Doctor Who, and I'm thinking, what sixth form play have they decided to film here? They've got like a provincial towns comprehensive school budget. It would look like. It looks crap, doesn't it? I don't like it, but I don't blame you for liking it. I don't like comics either.
No, me neither.
Well, we're slaughtering
Also,
sacred
all the
cows.
stuff we cover. Like,
Gaming,
we'd say this
no,
to
you
all
like
our-
gaming.
All the channels.
I
are
love
all
horror.
culture. Yeah.
Watched The Blair Witch again last night. Jesus Christ, what a phenomenal film that is.
I watched Juror number 2 at the
Every
cinema last
single
night.
year you watch it, it becomes more and more impressive.
How was?
No, they did a 2016 sequel. Oh, no. Very recently. Apparently, Blair Witch Project fans, I don't know the technical specifics, but in order to, like, they basically had to, like, alter the format of it to make it presentable in a cinema or a home video, but it was not in the way that they originally intended. And they're they're basically going to release it in the way that the filmmakers intended. I can only hope that they don't do the crap. I hate director's cut.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's Blade Runner, like, I can't deal with there are director's cuts that legitimately ruin the movie. Editors are so much more important than you could ever imagine. I love David Lynch. I love David Lynch. If you watch The Missing Pieces, which is a lot of the stuff that was in the original shooting script for Fire Walk with Me, you can't imagine that existing in the same film. Like, you need a good editor. What's another? Have you seen the Donnie Darko?
Yeah,
it's a bit. I don't like it as much as I did at the time. That director's cut ruins the movie.
Really?
It's almost helpful.
Like,
it's
longer
almost
the expensive films and too like wordy in certain scenes that just really like drag. Like, they drag.
It's one of those, the Donnie Darko director's cut, where it's almost helpful if you watch that first because you wouldn't invest in anything the guy did ever since, and he never did anything really.
Did you read Laura's diary in your Twin Peaks journey?
Apparently it's great.
I was listening to a podcast about it and it sounds amazing.
Apparently it's great.
Spoil a lot of it.
Apparently it's absolutely great.
Really
I just
cool.
never, ever got round to it. But on Blair Witch, specifically about editing, yes, it's one thing to present it aesthetically and how it was meant to be done. They cannot add an extra second to that. They cannot. It's 80 minutes. There's not a wasted second. The structure of it is so incredible because the way that they deepen that suspense and the dread of you can't go to sleep. Like, it's one of the best lines, I think. Too scared to close my eyes, too scared to open them.
Yeah.
The way that they like, oh my God, they're at the creek again. Like, the reality is getting reshaped around them by occult forces. Like, they are walking in the right direction, but it's being shaped around them because they're messing with forces they don't understand. And every single time they go to sleep, even if you've seen it 50 times, it's still like, oh, what's going to happen to them now? Can you imagine? It's possibly other than being buried alive, right? Or that's the thing. The way they film it, it's like, that's probably the last place on earth I'd ever want to be, ever. Like a slasher, I feel like I could outrun it. If I was buried alive, that's my ultimate fear. That. If I was in the sea, I would hate to be next to a shark. Apparently, you can just f***ing deck them.
Well,
I know a man who did.
I know a guy.
Apparently, you can just bop them on the nose. I mean, it sounds pretty simple to me, like the most apex predator of.
I prefer a choke slam.
I'll give it one last ride. Apparently, you can't punch
Put up by his fins.
You read stories like, you bop them on the nose. It's like you're with an apex predator in their world, and you can barely even like swim to depths. But I didn't punch them on the nose. That's fine. But I'd probably the idea of being in those woods, knowing you're doomed and you're being toyed with, and there's no way you could either get killed by the witch, starve to death. But let's just drag it out so you have the worst possible, scariest time imaginable. It is so terrifying to consider yourself in that situation. Ever watched it?
No, just leave me with Jonathan Creek. Thank you very much. That's scary enough for me.
It's a magnificent film. It's so great. Just the way that the horror is so relatable but inconceivable at the exact same time.
Was it when you were talking about being buried alive and like worst fears in a situation like that? There was a film.
Can you imagine being buried alive?
Well, I've got a
literally 6 feet under in a casket and you cannot get out.
I have a version of that is probably my biggest fear, and I see it in films and TV when they do this. I get very, very stressed watching people potholing in or like in caves or something that are basically just their height, or if you have to get down
I
and
don't
crawl
like
through
that.
and stuff. Like Twitter has sent you if you're on For You, and
have you
like,
seen those
where
images?
they've got those cameras in
Yeah.
it, and they've got like this much where the water's there, like that. I think that stresses me out even worse than the idea of being buried. And there's a film where like 3 of them go potholing or something.
Yes.
What's that called?
Yeah.
And they get and then all is not what it seems in the caves, and like there's a.
I know which one you mean.
But that scares me in that same way. It's
Not
like
The Descent, is it?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be in that. Get out. Do something else with your day.
Yeah,
Go to the pub.
What's the Fed? What's the Fed?
What's the Fed? Go to the pub.
Have you
The pub.
seen that image? There's a big incident. It's a famous one for like
Yes.
caving.
Yes.
Where like mercifully you can't actually see the thing, but it's a reproduction of it, an image of a guy.
Oh
Body
yeah.
outline in it.
Body outline going down this line cave, and then he just finds himself in a human-shaped hole, and that's him.
Yeah.
That was that. You just wait there till you're dead. Like, hope your phone battery doesn't run out and you got some like pods to listen to or something before you call it a day. Like, I just.
Yeah, I'm facing certain death. I'm as uncomfortable as I could possibly be. All I can do now is wait for 3 days. The absolute punishing, dehydration and the most physically painful death and the scariest situation ever at the same time. What a Pollock thought of Raw.
Could have at least said the
Well,
Dadleys.
Well,
That's what you're listening
Oh,
to.
I would, yeah.
this is it. My final few moments.
That'll be the worst bit. The worst bit of that entire thing, don't tell me this is not true, will not be the realisation it's the end of your life, because you kind of have to deal with that quite quickly. Like, you've got a long time with nothing but your thoughts and your imminent death. So you'll be like, well, like, I'm not over it, but this is, I am right? I am brown bread. It's over for me. What is there to enjoy as your arms are down by your side, your face is just frozen, your body's frozen, you can't move.
Thank
God my earphones are in. Like, thank God my earphones are in. And it's just whatever's listening, either, like, hopefully you've got your podcast app set where you can, like, loop onto the next one.
Yeah.
But then if you've, like, phone battery, when it does that boo-boo noise where you're like, well, 10%, that's also pretty much your life, because when that finishes, it's just you and your thoughts. And that's got to be the worst of all, right?
You just think about the yeeting, wouldn't you? I tell you what, I would.
Like, they're doing the autopsy afterwards. We noticed the man tries to raise his arms. It appears that he yeeted himself to death. I was in the, like, my arm movement shook the rocks, and a few more came in, and that was me. He died doing what he loved, eating.
If I was in that situation, and you got the arms like that, I think I would repeatedly smash my forehead against the rocks below, rather than wait it out.
I do the exam thing. I just go through the WWE champions. You know, like that, when you have to sit there waiting for your exam to finish, just like till you die.
Do you think the Continentals?
Yeah, well, all of them. You'd have time to do the lot, wouldn't you? You could get into that terrible 2015 period and be like, I'm really stuck here. See what I did there? Like, I'll have fun with it, you know?
You pop yourself.
Yeah.
I'd have to headbutt the rock. Okay, yeah. So you can laugh at times like these as well.
Nicholas sent me a video yesterday. Have you seen this pillow fight thing with Jimmy Fallon? It's a great moment of The Rock trying to be fine, and brother, he is not fine. They've done a bit where Jimmy Fallon's got a pillow with The Rock's face on, and it's stretched and all exaggerated. And
has he got any kids?
Who, The Rock? He's got a couple, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. 2 kids. But, like, why?
It's the NXT podcast, mate.
She's going to send it to Rock's daughter.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of his, like, the kids he hasn't forced into wrestling. He seems to reference a lot more. So his pillow, stretched, exaggerated face, whatever. And then The Rock's like, well, Jimmy, funny that, because I've got one.
I was watching you in a cave eating. Like, everyone's having literally the worst literal thing that could ever happen to anyone. You're thinking, well, time to eat, I think.
Just till The Rock's move.
So yeah, they've got the pillows. Yeah, he's got one of Jimmy Fallon's face. Hasn't he?
It's like, well, I've done that as well. And then The Rock says, hey, Jimmy, come here, I just want to whisper something. And then he wallops him pretty hard in the face with his pillow, right? And like, I'm assuming that's a bit. They were going to hit each other with the pillow once, but Rock has drilled him his pillow in the face, right? So like, and he's like, oh, it's like working with your mates. So we're throwing potatoes, are we? Glass, like, right, yeah. So Jimmy Fallon just absolutely wallops him, right, with his pillow. And like, Rock is like a bit like taken aback by it, but then feathers go everywhere. Like, and he's got like, all of a sudden he's like, I got this all over me. I'm a premier next. What in the blue have you done, Jimmy? Like,
easy, big fella.
He goes like, and Jimmy just cries like, I'm just with you. I'm just with you. I'm having a good time. Moana too.
He's losing pillow fights and rock, paper, scissors matches. He hates it.
He wants, the final boss wants to come out again.
He does. I think that's why it's working. Like, the real character turned up to 11. It's the final boss.
Jimmy Fallon was having more fun than when he had the big Justice lot of money.
Yeah. For 3.
I've seen that.
3 beams. Yeah.
Well, I've got them on, Jimmy.
Just show me.
Think of a happier time, Jimmy. Remember when I talked about monkey NFTs with Paris Hilton? That was a really good day at work, that was.
The Twizzlers got peanut butter in. And like the kid, the Rizzler? Is that what he's called?
Yeah.
The Rizzler? Like, where do I put this? Yeah, shut up. How many booms for the marshmallow? So he's your kid, right? You make him eat all the time. What else we got? That can't be good, can it?
The less said about that, the better, I think.
So Sol Ruca faced Cora Jade in the Iron Survivor qualifiers.
It is. You're taking him to a doctor. He's not going to be happy.
Sir, I'm going to give your son's diet a doom, but I'm going to give your podcast channel a boom. Thank you, doctor. Please take payment of a double chunk chocolate cookie. That's the point, mate.
So yeah, Sol Ruca versus Cora Jade, women's Iron Survivor qualifier. At one point, Ruca knocks her down and uses a surfboard, but Jade comes back with some knees to the back, tries for a DDT as we head to the finish, but Sol fights out of it.
God, we're still on this.
Jade went for a running knee, but Sol Ruca dodged it and hit the Soul Snatcher to get a surprise victory. We didn't call this one yesterday.
No, it occurred to me after the fact that they'll probably do a last chance losers match and Cora Jade will get in that way.
I thought that, yeah.
Because I would have had Cora Jade winning here. But nothing to this really, but Sol Ruca in the match, not a bad thing. I said yesterday she's the one that's probably lost out with all the signings coming in, and I guess here she hasn't. She'll probably do like a really cool Soul Snatcher somewhere in the match. Apparently blacks. There'll be an opportunity there where she can do 2 at once, 2 pins. But like, glad she's in it.
I'll level with you. I put this match on, press play, and I was like, I made my cup of coffee here. Watching it, grind the beans and all that, and do the thing, do the process. And then you set your alarm for 3 minutes. And I watched it, and then whatever. Did the plunge, was concentrating, and then by the time I'd completed the plunge, the match had finished. I thought, should I rewind this? I was like, yeah, professional. Didn't do it. It's so bored.
How was the coffee?
It's great.
Is it?
It's great. Aye. Murray recommended me a good, not budget option, 'cause it's still ridiculous, all coffee is, but like sort of an upstart local business as well, which is always good to support. And it's just, they do it about a tenner. If you go up to 1 kilogram, it's like a tenner cheaper.
Right.
Than more established roasters with only like a fractional taste difference. So Vaquer coffee in Durham. Very good. Like a wine gum sweetness to it.
You mentioned this on
it's nice.
Q&A.
Oh God, it's really good. It's real good.
Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander are talking about their qualifiers backstage, and they walk by Carmen Petrovic and Dion Lennox, and they're talking about their
stupid.
This is a good one. They're talking about their favourite colours, and Carmen complains about being distracted by Ashanti the Adonis's yellow beanie last week. Brindley walks up, and she's like, "Carmen, you're not talking about." Carmen says, "No." Ashanti walks up, says, "Oh, this is how it is it? You're chatting with my best friend now." I did like Dion Lennox. Since when have we been mates? It eventually sets up
For a week now.
a mixed tag for next week: Ashanti the Adonis and Carmen Petrovic versus Dion and Brindley Reese.
I found this character development amusing. I did. It's the Dion Lennox deadpan. I thought was quite good in this, as both the best friend and the inadvertent pretend love interest. I thought he worked pretty well.
Yeah. He's not trying for this at all. He's just trying to be nice and have a chat.
He's stuck in it.
And then he's going to take those glasses off next week. And I'm going to go, where's Dion Lennox from?
He didn't have his book this week. I like his book acting.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, good point.
Can't believe this is a storyline on a wrestling show, really, but here we are.
It's time for The Rock's daughter, Ava. She has got a surname. She's The Rock's daughter and general manager of NXT. To have her State of the Tag Team Division address thing. She's got them all in a room. Says she needs to find the next team to step up. In there is Gallus, Hank and Tank, who are excited. Honk, honk. I love them. The Rank UCC, OTM, Tyson and Tyreek, and, of course, the family. And OTM says they're going to make Ava think twice about putting the titles on singles guys. And they all argue, and Ava says, this is the energy I want, but you have to show me as well as tell me. And this will lead to something later on in the show.
What a room full of stupid losers, and what a bad segment this was.
I know. Conceptually...
With the exception of our colleague and friend, obviously.
Respect.
But
and Hank and Tank.
Was it Josh Briggs as well that stormed off early doors?
Oh yeah, Briggs was in there.
Sort of paid itself off later on, didn't it? I just hate this like thing that wrestling does sometimes, where all of these subservient loser wrestlers gather together.
There's a lot of this on this show.
And are given
Eddie Thorpe as well.
Yeah, some sort of like very vague instruction.
Get over your boring.
Yeah,
that's basically what they're saying, aren't they?
And it's just an excuse for a bad, like supposedly dramatic arena-wide brawl, which looks all later on. We just had a bad time with all of this.
I know this says chaos in the tag division for this podcast, so I'll be disagreeing on that point.
for the respect of your bullet points, there was you're not wrong.
Respect the bullet points.
Respect the bullet. There was chaos.
Yeah,
it ain't good, but it was chaos.
Honk honk. I love Hank and Tank.
Just remember that was a big pitch for to watch that AEW Dynamite, guys. It's chaos over here. I was like, I instantly knew. You don't have ideas. He's a screwed. This is good. This is excellent.
Fun Iron Survivor qualifier next. It was Wes Lee versus Cedric Alexander. They worked really well together. There was one point where Lee got caught in the middle ropes and kicked repeatedly by Alexander, spilled to the outside, and there's a nice suicide dive onto Lee to take us to a break. When we come back, Alexander tries to make a comeback. Lee attempts the cardiac kick and gets drop kicked right in the head. Sorry, I'm on the door or no door page. That's my fault.
Oh my God.
They both struggled to get back up.
Whose team's that again?
That was David Otunga, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, dear.
No, it isn't.
No, David.
Oh, no, it can't be. I thought
Was it Tamina?
No, I think we've been foxed by
Cora?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, longer intro. All classics.
It's a weird page, that. Lana's on there somewhere, but...
All-time popular.
Struggle to find it. So I don't want to get us into trouble. Right, so that was that one. So I'm going to go... No.
Wade Barrett.
Oh, class.
You know you want that.
I think... Is this one?
Iconics.
I made myself sad. It's got to be this one then.
All time.
Look in my eyes. There's a cursed mashup on YouTube. Check it out.
It is excellent.
Where are we? Cedric Alexander and Wes Lee are on the apron. Lee gets slammed onto it. Alexander caught Lee with a roll-through DDT for a nice 2 count. Lee hit the cardiac kick, but only gets a 2 from that as well. Goes up top for a 450. Cedric moves. It's a huge lariat. Grabs Lee, tries to do the lumbar check, pulls him out the corner, but he pulls the turnbuckle cover off. And in the midst of all this, the referee's taking the turnbuckle cover to put it back. Cedric Alexander hits a Michinoku driver, but the ref takes too much time. That allows Wes Lee to kick out. And Lee sends Cedric into the exposed turnbuckle and hits his double knees to finish it.
I did like this a bit by the end. It took a while though. It wasn't.
I like this match. Yeah.
I didn't think it was very good at first. I thought they had a few chemistry issues, and then they worked it out by the end. But my biggest problem continues to be that, well, this was like a story for Cedric Alexander's benefit because they're obviously setting up some sort of probable turn on Javon Evans, going back to the tag match the other week, and the fact that he can't really get it together even though he's come back to NXT.
Maybe a character change.
Yeah, indeed. I don't really buy Wes Lee as a working heel yet. And I think it relied on Cedric Alexander screwing up for him to look like he was kind of stealing one or cheating to get the win or whatever. It's just too good. And
no one wrestles like a heel anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like one of these dickheads.
No, but you've got to basically strip away 90. If you're Wes Lee, you've got to strip away about 90% of what you do.
And why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
Yeah. I tell you, rather than the usual 0, I remembered 3 things about this match on NXT. One, the big botch at the start when it's weird. I kind of sensed it was coming because I think like he tosses Wes Lee, or Wes Lee sort of just, he doesn't seem to know where Wes Lee is when Wes Lee, I think he just falls off the ramp. He does a delayed sell off the apron, onto the floor, and Cedric Alexander's not even looking.
Yeah.
And then does his big dive. And I think he gets caught in two minds. Like, where the bloody hell are you? So he says that's his internal monologue. He goes, where the bloody hell are you? And he just says, I don't know what to do. He does a little jump. He misses him by miles. But then there were two near falls where I was like, Jesus Christ, that's not the finish, isn't it? So that's it.
That's what happened.
Time to go to the restaurant. Tony D's enjoying some dinner when Sean Spears and Brooks Jensen pay a visit. And Tony says, oh, Spears, I don't like this obsession you've got with constantly following me. And Spears says, I'll call it more persistent. Tony's like, oh, persistently annoying, more like.
You love that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's pop. Spears says, I don't care that you're the Don. It's the other more important title. That's the North American title he's talking about, that he cares about. He's seen a lot of guys come in and attack Tony, turn the restaurant upside down, but he's let the Don slide twice. There will not be a third time. And Tony says, oh, you let me slide? Spears, let's cut right to the chase. You want this, don't you? And Spears said, D'Angelo built a hell of a family since he won the North American Championship. He's grown and motivated that family to be hungry.
Dinosaur making.
And Spears also says that he thinks that the title can do the same thing for him. And Tony says, oh, it took me almost 3 years and taking out a monster to win this right here. And Spears says, yeah, you played over. Good for you. Now you're stronger than ever. And that's why I want Brooks to challenge you. And Tony says, oh, Spears, you're a weird guy. You come in here.
Yes, as well.
You come in here and ask for a title shot and you want Brooks to fight for you? And then he turns to Brooks and says, why don't you think for yourself, kid? Why do you even follow this guy? And Brooks steps up to confront him, but Spears, stops him. Says, I don't question the way that the Don does things. I don't question mine. And Tony says, oh, you know what? It is smart having the kid fight for you. But
Fought for you.
Spears interrupts.
Pick a number.
Says, intelligence will only get you so far. The difference between me and everyone else on the roster is that I'm starving.
Dinosaur mate. Dinosaur mate. Dinosaur mate. Dinosaur. 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 Dinosaur making.
That's what I was suckers off. That's what I was saying. Stop talking about how your belly. Stop talking about your belly.
Tune that.
It's good, isn't it? I'm going to release it.
Time to suck.
Time to suck.
We got time to get in the Christmas charts.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, crying.
Yeah, he's starving. The most successful people in the world are hungry to be more. The only thing, bear in mind, Tony D is eating a meal in front of him. The only thing in this restaurant and NXT that will satisfy his appetite is the North American title. And he thanks Tony for his time, and he leaves. And we see them getting into an SUV as he tells Brooksy, as he calls him, that's how you deal with a boss. And they get in the car, and he says, isn't that right, Nico? And I thought, oh my God, that's Nico Vance from NXT Level Up.
I was baffled by this. I know I don't pay that much attention to this program, if I'm being perfectly honest. I was like, who's this?
It's Nico Vance, a former football player for the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, of course, who turned around and said, yes, it is. Love Nico Vance, mate.
All right, okay. Yeah. What's your favourite match of his from
Dante
Level
Chen
Up?
when he was Scarlett Clinton, probably back on 2nd of September.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Asked and answered.
Asked and answered. You can't really say much more than that. What's the best move that he does?
Just all that good stuff.
But he's got the best finish. Shit.
Yeah,
Level Up though.
Big slam. Big old, when he just slams people down, you're like, Jesus Christ. I want to face that. Yeah, Nico Vance, the massive guy, basically. He's going to be, is Sean Spears is heavy. Mm-hmm. Thoughts?
The worst dialogue by the worst character. Not the worst performer. He's a good goof. You take the goofing. We've established this with Sean Spears. Yep. You were good at the goofing, boy. Why don't you keep at the goofing? Keep up at the goofing.
I'm just seeing,
You had an affinity for the goofing.
Seeing Josh Briggs saying he made a friend over in Noah and Fallon Henley kicking around in a new group, and I see Brooks Jensen just hanging with the wrong crowd. It just makes us genuinely nostalgic for an act I would rather see back together.
That beard's too big, man.
He's out of control.
No, he needs to shave that beard off. It's actually a bad look what he's got.
What is it supposed to denote? Crazy?
Yeah, like he's stopped. He's not interested in looking after himself anymore.
I don't buy anything.
Which is weird because Sean Spears has a very like defined haircut. Like he's got the things cut through.
Oh, he's very precise. Very precise.
He's wearing a suit, so surely. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Like how the cult leaders are always dead rich, but the cult members not so much.
Layers.
That's right.
I'll let you keep talking about this actually, because I've just remembered I need to quickly nip out. I've got a meeting because we've got something big coming up next week that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about.
I mean, for right now, when
we obviously with some other stuff.
It's with us though, so
it's Phil who actually asked for it. I think he's just
Phil's the most laid back dude I know. I think he'll be fine if you.
We're getting close to wrapping up time today. Here
no, he's until 6. He told us earlier.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I believe.
Do you not believe? Do you not believe me?
No, I always believe you, obviously, mate. But I just need to go double check. Something else. I'll be back.
I mean, I'd like to think we're more professional, but I have nothing left on this.
I barely
I've got nothing left on this
yeah.
segment. I love the family for the most part, but this feels too weak a diversion for Tony D.
Yeah, I mean, look, Deadline having a single Sean Spears and a singles Ridge Holland match. It's a good job that the Iron Survivor is the second best match in modern wrestling. Last few years.
What do you think of last night's NXT, huh?
Yeah.
Sure about that Nico Vance guy, huh?
Do you reckon you can take him?
Don't know, that slam he does, I heard a big thing about, so not too sure about it. Hey, in advance of tomorrow, and obviously, if not sure if you saw this, Nico Vance was in the car driving. And, of course, when you're in a car, you wear a seatbelt. Happy National Seatbelt Day for tomorrow, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of which, what's the deal with seatbelts?
I'm going to be completely honest when I say this. Seatbelts are like one of the most important life-saving safety measures in recent times. I think that you should tread lightly on the old jokes because I don't think it's a laughing matter, road safety. Genuinely, I don't. I'm worried about these jokes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, actually, for the longest time, CG, I just couldn't work out how seatbelts worked. And then it just clicked. Just clicked!
That's good. That's good comedy.
3 questions, 3 jokes for you. Why do you always have to wear a seatbelt in a Tesla?
Because those things are scary.
What do we know about Teslas? They're made by Elon Musk. They're self-driving?
Yes.
Sometimes.
So why do you always... Because it's a car?
Yeah, that's the law.
Yeah, it's the law. So why do you always have to wear a seatbelt when you're in a Tesla?
The journey is elongated.
I like that, but it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Why do you always have to wear a seatbelt in a Tesla? In case the computer crashes. Self-driving cars.
Yeah. I mean, it happens for real.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the difference between a seatbelt and a condom? How about that? How do you like that one?
Better.
It's this difference between a seatbelt and a condom.
Something about protection and taking it off, isn't there? There's something in that arena.
Oh, I'm telling you what. I don't know.
What's the difference between a seatbelt and a condom? One of them prevents lives being lost in an accident. Another one prevents lives being made in an accident, if you know what I mean.
I didn't know what you mean, Stacks.
Yeah.
It's good though. He's got the second joke out the way, and it was the bluey. So
Yes.
I can tell the next one to James.
Exactly. Question joke number 3. What does my penis have in common with a seatbelt?
What does my penis have in common with a seatbelt?
AI will never get our podcast, you know.
No.
It'll try and manufacture all the words.
This is you telling yourself to feel better.
Yeah, it'll sound like a wrestling podcast, and out of nowhere there'll be penis seatbelt, and it's like, who's he wrestling?
What does my penis have in common with a seatbelt? If you know when like you ever had it where it's like it jams and you're
Yes.
like, if you pull too hard on it, it won't come.
Yeah.
Good night, right? What is my penis? What is my penis?
my penis? Sorry, Ric Flair.
What does my penis have in common with a seatbelt? What does my penis have in common with a seatbelt? They both get longer if pulled, work well in their joint, fit snugly between breasts, slide neatly into holes, and choke people when they're used incorrectly. See you later, guys.
That's good stuff. That's good comedy. Good comedy.
Bye, Stacks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he is here till 6. I could have done that later. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, big things happening next week. Not allowed to say what just yet, but keep your peepers peeled.
Keep your peepers peeping.
Maybe? Yeah. Okay.
Stay tuned.
Should we drip feed it as opposed to the full schedule?
Yeah, let me just write down the time so I can put in a mid-roll, lad. Byron Saxton asked Kelani Jordan about her title match tonight. I've not. You've not already done this, I take it.
No, we just waited for you to get back out the meeting.
Oh, cool.
So you missed Dax, man.
Oh,
He has these very elaborate jokes and wants us to guess the punchlines, and increasingly it feels like that third one is impossible to guess.
Yes.
Anyway, Kelani says she's been waiting since Halloween Havoc. She's going to kick Fallon Henley's ass and win back her title, basically. But she's interrupted by the other members of Fatal Influence, they being, of course, Jasmine Nix and JC Jane.
Back with a vengeance tonight because they had to do like a walk into the ring shot, and JC Jane is never quite sure which one to go for, so it's all 100.
They says even if Fallon Henley can't get it done, we'll make sure she does. Kelani says it's on site.
Yep.
The NXT champion is out next. Trick Willie gets a huge reaction, of course. Talks about how he's an Iron Survivor success story. But that's not what he's here to focus on. He wants to talk about Ridge Holland pinning him last week in Philadelphia. It's not going to end like that. He's not going out like last week. Ridge, get your punk ass. And then...
Teachable moment! Teachable moment!
Here comes Andre Chase to interrupt. Says, I'm not done with Ridge Holland. But Trick puts him over. His ability to bounce back and doing everything on NXT. I mean, other than being NXT champion. So you're telling me there's a chance. But before they can set up their NXT title match, Ridge Bloody Holland cuts him off. This needs to stop right now, he says. I'm not having Andre Chase get an NXT title shot. You're ducking me for a bloke I put in an ambulance 2 weeks ago. He says, you need to learn, Andre Chase, that I've moved on. I made the ECW arena go silent.
And I mean, folks, where's the lie?
By pinning Trick Williams. I'm the biggest threat to the NXT title. Mr. Chase wants one more match against Ridge. Ridge says, no. Chase offers to put the university on the line, and Ridge says, again, keep doing that and losing it and then winning it back, who cares? The only thing I care about is the NXT title. Trick says, look, I get it. You want a title match. You want a chance to whip his ass. Why don't we do it next week? Ridge Holland, Andre Chase, winning gets a match against me at NXT Deadline. NXT loves Chase U. Chase U loves NXT. He's got a relationship with the people. Duke, Riley, Thea. And Rich says, I'll take that. Trick says, what are you talking about? If I win, Andre Chase's relationship with Riley, Duke, Thea, done. Chase U, done. And I'll walk into NXT Deadline and challenge for the title. Watch, you've got nothing, Andre Chase. Quite the gamble for a man who's never won the big one. What are you going to do? And Mr. Chase says, you're on. Next week, I'm going to give you a Chase University-sized ass whooping. And then Ridge cheap shots him, but Trick slams him down, and they do the double Chase U stop. Go on.
If you are in this world, and we are every Wednesday, I think it's fair to argue that this is quite a big match next week. Like, I will have a lot of investment going into this. Not only do I not want to see Ridge Holland versus Trick Williams, so I'm already like, come on, Andre Chase.
Yeah, come on.
But also, the end of Chase U is significant. It's one of NXT's longest standing things, for better and worse. You are right to highlight, what are we talking here? Like a gambling addiction character that they don't even realise they've cast Andre Chase in. Like the backstage segment later on that... Again, Andre's like, I promise you this time.
It was the third because he did it against Duke.
Yeah, Duke, and then he obviously all the stuff with the family, like.
Oh, and of course, JC Jane.
Yeah. So this is the third time now. There's no calendars left to sell. If he loses it,
Hang on, wait a second. Sorry, I'll look that up whilst you.
He's not getting it back. Chase U is donezo, and what they have in Chase U, and I've been there in person for it. I've seen it on screen. We were talking yesterday about the Heat Wave and how the tag match on that card, there is an affection to this group.
Out of stock.
They crossed over, if nothing else, into meme territory, because remember Okada in NXT, and it was going to be like, oh God, can you imagine Okada joining Chase U? Like, wouldn't that be really dumb and trivial?
Yeah.
But that was like the thing for a bit, wasn't it? They have resonated in such a way that if they're suddenly to be gone, I think that'll matter. I don't necessarily it's going to be good heat for Ridge Holland. I just think it'll be sad if Chase U were done. And I think Andre Chase having to do something else, and Thea Hale and Duke Hudson not like having to go separate ways.
If you leave,
will be very sad. So I think they've got something here. And then in the backstage segment, I think they might have shown us what the finish is going to be, because he was like, one by one, you've all done so much for Chase U, and now I want to do something and win the big one for me. And he like puts his arms around Duke Hudson and Thea Hale, and Riley Osborne's at the back going like, yeah, you know, like when DX and the Click left out Seth Rollins.
yeah.
That's class on it.
And remember for a while they were teasing if Riley Osborne could maybe like see Ridge Holland's way of thinking a little bit.
Ooh. Or declare his love for Thea Hale and those crazy kids get it together.
What, Riley Osborne or Ridge Holland? Because
yeah.
She looks more like me. I don't want to her. I swear.
I've clarified this on many occasions.
But yeah, I think this could be, and especially in that building, they've always got the Chase U side. This is going to be hot as balls next week. I'm into this, really into this.
The idea of potentially not having to watch Ridge Holland go longer and without commercial interruption on a PLE, which is a show that we generally have to review. It's very match heavy. There's not enough bollocks on there. So the reviews are actually, oh God, reviewing wrestling, NXT wrestling, they're worse. So that's good. I mean, this match shouldn't be happening. He's defeated soundly both the person who's now challenging him for the number one contendership and indeed the champion.
That's bad booking.
Oh, it's terrible booking.
I didn't see that match, so it didn't happen.
That's a new rule. We'll be working with that one.
If I didn't see it, it didn't happen.
That's why I think Collision's been class last year.
We get remarks from Jade Parker, who congratulates Sol Ruca on qualifying for the NXT, but she's going to win the match at NXT.
I hate that. Just some feedback.
Okay.
Not for me, I like it.
But backstage, Josh Briggs is there with Avation Rock Daughter, General Manager of NXT, and Pro Wrestling Noah's Yoshiki Inamura. But Eddie Thorpe walks in and kicking off, and she's like, "I just have a night in Survivor match." And he's like, "Oh, thanks. That's what I wanted."
I couldn't possibly think any less of him for being so reverent towards Ava. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, stop being a little bitch. Like worker bee stuff.
Yeah. Foreshadowing that they're going to probably face Fraxium, though. Mm-hmm. Like, probably. I have never seen Inamura ever, but Andy Murray shows me that there's actually a lot to like about him. Like a fun, big guy, he's a big match wrestler.
Yeah. I haven't seen much of it recently, but I do like that meat-headed, big heavyweight Japanese style.
Yeah.
And they just hit each other really stupidly hard. Like I do have a little bit of an affinity for it. You don't?
Not really. Like I get enough of it in my North American diet, truthfully, because I'll throw it out there sometimes and no way, forearms. Like, but I've had a lot of that.
It's a reductive piece of tray.
Quite a lot of it. But no, I've never seen him, so genuinely looking forward to seeing how, what I'll probably do is now watch one Noah match. Murray gave me a single recommendation. I'll give that a go. And then inevitably, I will see how it's contrasted with how he ends up having to work in NXT because it's divided completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was time for the Riz to take on Nikita Lyons. This was
Bad.
This is real bad.
What do I say here?
I just beats her up with her asshole.
Specifically.
I mean, that's
Repeatedly.
Ragdolled her over with a master lock submission for a while as well.
Yeah. Asta lock.
Nikita Lyons, that is.
That's what she does.
Rizzo got a near fall with the running press.
She attacks people with her ass.
But
And we know in NXT law, asses are more powerful and dangerous than bricks.
Yes.
So that's all right.
Lyons hit her with a karate kick as Rizzo's coming off the top and hits her with that body press to get the 1-2-3. Post-match, Rizzo twatted her with a crowbar.
What are you meant to say about this match, man?
Got her eat back at the end.
Just smashed her face in with her ass. It's like you've got a big cake. So what you should do is use that as like your offensive weapon. That's what people want on X, isn't it? So, yeah, it is.
And then
Every time a cake happens in wrestling ring, someone gets hit with it. I don't make the rules.
Gia is after the crowbar thing as well. She's like, so she loses, hits her with the crowbar.
Fair and square.
Yeah, clean as a whistle. Hits her with the crowbar and then goes, now it's over. So that's the storyline concluded. Lost cleanly. Smashed her in the back of the head with the crowbar. Babyface gets a heat back.
So the ranking now is brick, ass, crowbar.
Yep.
Like that, reckoning.
Brick ass crowbar sounds like a Cartoon Network show, doesn't it? When like kids' cartoons in the 90s were slightly edgier. Brick ass crowbar. 3 like little human faces. Yeah. Come on, crowbar. Leave it out, ass.
Shut up, prick.
How do we find ourselves together?
Nah, don't listen to Brick. He's out of his mind.
Crowbar, stop talking out of his ass.
We're celebrating a year of this next week. Yeah. That's all I'll say for now. I don't want to spoil this lovely thing that you've made here. Keep an eye on social media very soon for all the developments on this. Very excited for next week. We get a vignette on Zarya.
Put it this way, if you ever thought, I'd love to see Hamlet eat one burger. Well, have we got some content for you?
Zarya is going to win the Iron Survivor. That's basically. Yeah. But in the men's Iron Survivor qualifiers, it's bouncy Javon Evans versus Lexis King. Lots of acrobatics in this early on.
Get him, Brick.
Brick gets crowbar.
Oh, he's...
Yeah.
Brick has... That was ass.
Evans is flying all over the place. Springboard Hurricane Rana at one point. Dives over the top ropes to the outside. At one point, he tries to leap over Lexis King, who sort of hits an inadvertent low blow.
Yeah. No, it was totally planned.
Headbutted him in the cock. But he's an honourable man now, Lexis King. He refused to capitalise on it. When we come back... Evans is in trouble, but he fights back with a kip-up cutter. He's just great on Lexis King. And a springboard splash gets 2. There's a high-risk move by Javon Evans, which he misses. That opens him up to a super kick from Lexis King. They go back and forth. Evans hits King with a big kick, heads up top for the frog splash, but King kicks out and hits a Michinoku driver for a 2 count. But King runs into a super kick from Javon Evans. His springboard spinning splash gets the 1-2-3.
Springboard.
And Javon Evans qualifies for the Iron Survivor. And there's a nice He's a bit devoed afterwards, Lexis King, but there's a nice show of sportsmanship regardless.
I tell you what, Javon Evans carried this youngster, Lexis King, to something half decent.
Yeah, I was shocked by how dynamic it was.
He's good in Javon Evans.
He's got the dynamism of two men.
Yeah.
I mean, Lexis King's got the dynamism of no men.
There you go, two dynamic men. Yeah. And that was the match. No, this was all right.
I thought the headbutt to the cock was like real good.
Yeah.
I've seen wrestlers claim that they've worked this, and it just never really is. I just think you've botched it, mate.
Yeah.
Get over it. Everyone botches. But like Lexis King's like body language of, oh, sorry about
That's
that.
just creeping.
Yeah, he did. He was. It's just best thing he'll ever do in his life.
Competent, this, wasn't it?
Yeah, best thing he'll ever do in his life.
Learned a thing or two from William Regal after all.
Yeah.
What is Javon Evans? I mean, we're talking about Sol Ruca, really. What's Javon Evans going to do in this
He's going to
match?
fling himself off the penalty box.
Oh my God.
He's going to, like bounce his way to 2 falls or something. Or somebody's going to kick out and he's going to bounce on another body and get a fall that way or something. Like rack up points super quick and then just get decked and taken out.
The tag champs, they being, of course, Axiom.
Pronoun boy.
When I'm cleaning windows.
Chatting backstage, look at all the tag teams that are coming for us.
I've been watching Brick, Arse and Crowbar.
And Nathan Fraser reveals, I've got an I Survivor qualifying match next week. Axiom was like, what? Well, you've been in it before. You got any tips? And he just storms off. OTM say we've got an issue with singles guys holding titles, and there's a family argument as well.
I tell you why Axiom might make it really, really far. It was always something, wasn't it? How
He's handsome as hell.
well, and under that mask, Rey Mysterio's physical charisma is underrated in a sense because he was one of the all-time great stare through the lens baby faces, and you can only even see half of his face. Axiom can tell a story with his body. I just saw this frustrated figure of a man sick of his arsehole partner, and that mask shows nothing.
Yeah.
He gets to use precisely none of his face, but it's his voice, it's his movement, everything. And then if he does take the mask off ever, well, he's an absolute
hunk.
piece under there.
He's a hunk.
So yeah, really, really love these two.
Love the idea of hey. And after they had an argument last week, and Nathan Fraser's like, good point, it's not an off week next week. It's time to put me in a singles match with the Iron Survivor.
He's a great dick.
Also got a bit of a point because Axiom has been in it, of course, before. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, really like that. Lexis King was frustrated as Dion Lennox and Ashanti the Adonis, best mates, obviously, chatting. But thankfully, to cheer up Lexis King, there's Dante Chen XT and Hank and Tank, honk, honk. And then Gallus turn up and ruin that whole thing, don't they? Mm-hmm. Grumpy bastards.
Yeah, a lot of them on this show. Still more of them to come.
I know.
And then we get the main events, the women's
Jesus Christ.
North American title on the line, Fallon Henley, with the other people from Fatal Influence, those, of course, being Jasmine Nix and JC Jane versus the former champion, Kelani Jordan. Jordan fights back after being in trouble initially. Dropkick sends Henley out ringside. They fight near the commentary table. Jordan leaps off it. Hits a standing moonsault on Fallon Henley. That takes us to a break. When we come back, they're both down. Jordan tries for her split-legged moonsault, but Henley blocks it. Gets a flip DDT. Jordan traps Henley on the top rope. Avalanche Spanish Fly gets a 2 count. Henley avoided this Phoenix Splash, though, and rolled her up for a 2. Jordan catches Henley with a standing backdrop, hits the split-legged moonsault. She has got the match won. She is regaining the title, but then as Jasmine Nix jumps up on one side of the ring, the other member of Fatal Influence, that, of course, being JC Jane,
Brick ass crowbar.
puts Henley's foot on the ropes to screw her over, basically, and that means Kelani snaps. She nails JC Jane. She brings Jasmine into the ring and kicks her. Rolls Fallon up for 2, but Fallon kicks out. And they do the thing where Kelani goes into the ropes, nailed by JC Jane. Famouser from Fallon Henley. 1, 2, 3. She retains the North American title.
Solid. At times a little bit limp. Both of them had like little moments where a couple of like the connection on Fallon Henley to Kelani Jordan was a bit off, and then the standout one. I like that Kelani Jordan keeps testing herself almost in these matches, but the Rolling Thunder with a shooting star is the reason why Rob Van Dam never bothered trying that, because the gap in which she has to get up from the roll and then do the shooting star.
Waste of bloody
felt
time.
like an eternity and made the roll look redundant.
You know when they say when you're on Jim Ross in the Ross Report, he's not bollocking Big Show for being fat. You go, that was a great performance last night from Rob Conway or whoever the no wasted motion. Yeah. No wasted motion.
Yeah.
That's wasted motion.
Yeah.
Was it?
I was just thinking of Rob Conway had some sizzle to a steak, and no wasted motion.
Yes.
And I've reached a workout.
Can anybody see Buff Bagwell? Yes, Jim, that's the exact character.
Yeah.
But Rob, don't call me Buff Conway. Well, don't call him it then. It's your column. Talent relation.
This LA night reminds me of a combination. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Anybody else get that? He lives that today.
Sid got a great one. I'm going to bring it up.
It's Spine Buster. It's like everyone else is like Arn Anderson.
We're having a conversation at the desks earlier on. Great bit of part of this decision is coming out of the podcast. It was a story. I was researching a story for an article, and let's just say Matt Hardy doesn't come
desk
across.
pat. I usually.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Matt Hardy doesn't come across too well.
Good teaser.
So I won't go into the story for now, but it's like, so this goes wrong, and then this goes wrong, and then this goes wrong. Absolutely no dubs for Matt Hardy in this story. It's a cinch.
And then he said, "Oh God, Matt Hardy, honestly, I can't stop taking L's out the ass. I think you should have a new catchphrase. Earl. Yeah. He deserves it. He deserves everything he gets, other than money. He should have been. She was paying him these days. It's 2024.
Other than money.
That's my way of saying that he probably shouldn't have had as long as he did in AEW, Maybe start to one yet. I mean, if he's got fans who want to buy the merch, obviously that's fine. I'm not saying he should have a living. I'm just saying that AEW shouldn't have paid him.
We get other than money on a t-shirt, please.
Other than money, Matt.
Oh, God, he's just there too long. That's all I'm saying. He's just there too long. He outlived his usefulness, if he had any to begin with.
Yeah, Kelani.
I really like that match with him and Kenny versus Guevara and Jericho. That was awesome.
DDT inspired stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kelani Jordan's good, though, isn't she?
Yeah. She's probably going to fail upwards here. Done with the North American title now.
But not done with this show, of course, because there was a lot of people are saying this chaos in the men's tag team division to close out this show. Here come OTM, the family attack them. Gallus, Hank and Tank, join in a big brawl at ringside. The refs and security have to all break it up. Fight's kicking off. The show goes off the air with thanks to Triple H, Lee Fitton, and Shawn Michaels.
It was weak, this ending, wasn't it? Really, really
It's
weak.
chaos. It's usually they've got no idea, so they've got chaos or whatever.
What's the bit earlier on the show where Booker T likes doing the bit, and the bit with
There's more Booker T derangement, by the way, and I can't remember what it was.
Me neither.
I remember going, what?
Yeah, there's like a bit within a bit within a bit now where if them two fighting is a bit, and who knows, it could just be a shoot, but if them two fighting is a bit, there's now one where Booker T wants to set his own thing up and he's like, I'm going to do it. And then Vic's part of this bit is like, no, Booker, please shut up, Book. And then Book just does it anyway. After he watched the fight.
There was definitely a bit, I think it was in the Javon Evans match, where I think he was saying, Book, you've been mentoring Javon Evans or something, and you've been saying to me how great he is, and how he's a real prospect for the future. And Booker went, that's right, he's getting his ass handed to him by Lexis King right now.
What? It's a good pass. He turns it into a hospital one. We'll see if I can kill that point, Vic.
But yeah, chaotic end to this show.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. Order for money.
Right, on that note, let us know your thoughts on NXT in the comments.
It's a long day. I'm a bit delirious, man. It's all for entertainment purposes. Don't.
Or on X, at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflet at
Michael Hamflet.
Follow Michael Cedric at
I am Sedgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow our brilliant and long-suffering producer at It's Adam Nicholas. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from. The daily wrestling podcast. The Dynamite preview is available right now, but this has been the NXT review. My thanks to Hamflet, to Cedric, to Stacks. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.